Hello, Insight Seekers. I'm Sriram, an AI enabled data analyst. I welcome you all to my second portfolio project, Business Insights 360 Degree. My data analytics project and AtliQ Hardware story have evolved and have taken a step forward. Let's begin with the presentation. About the company, AtliQ Hardware is a global consumer electronics company specializing in PCs, monitors, and accessories. With a strong international presence, it is steadily building worldwide recognition. Let us first understand the business model of AtliQ Hardware. AtliQ manufactures different electronic products and they are sold to the customers like Chroma, Flipkart, Staples in different countries, and it reaches the end consumers. Platforms are categorized into two types: brick and mortar, which are the physical stores; e-commerce means the online platforms. Together, they come under the channel called retailer. AtliQ also have their own outlets like e-store and exclusive. They are called direct channels. In few countries, there are distributors like Neptune, who distributes the products to the local stores, and then they are sold to the end consumers. AtliQ operates in 27 markets with 75 distinct customers worldwide. Their presence spans North America, Latin America, the Asia Pacific, and the European Union regions. This global reach highlights both their diverse customer base and strong international footprint. AtliQ offers a diverse product range covering notebooks, desktops, and peripherals like processors and graphic cards. The portfolio also includes accessories, storage, and networking devices. All in all, together, these products meet both personal and business technology needs. When AtliQ was trying to establish its presence in Latin America, it experienced a tough challenge. That tough experience in Latin America showed them that the intuitions and surveys alone are not enough for big business decisions. Competing with Dell, which uses advanced analytics on customer demographics and behavior, highlighted the gap. That is why AtliQ is now kicking off its data analytics journey, shifting from Excel to Power BI to make smarter and data-driven decisions. What are the objectives of the project? To analyze AtliQ hardware consumption patterns and identify opportunities to improve sales and revenue, and ensure transparency in performance metrics and enable data-driven decisions to prevent incidents like the one in Latin America. Provide actionable insights to enhance competitiveness and grow the market share. In the project kickoff meeting, these were the actionable notes: to build and design finance view, sales view, marketing view, supply chain view, and executive view. So why do we need all of these views and who is going to benefit by this? Let's understand that. Finance view equips finance team with P&L insights and to spot profit drivers and manage costs. Sales view identifies product performance to sharpen sales focus and boost revenue. Marketing view reveals the growth blockers and optimize campaigns for market expansions. Supply chain view tracks reliability, inventory, and forecast to cut stockouts and improve the efficiency. Executive view consolidates the insights for the leadership to make fast, strategic, and data-driven business decisions. So this slide shows the flow of how a company's revenue turns into profit after various deductions and expenses. It begins with a gross price, which is reduced by pre-invoice deduction, that is the yearly discount agreements, and post-invoice deductions such as promotional offer, placement fees, and performance rebates to arrive at the net sales. From net sales, the cost of goods sold, that includes manufacturing, transportation, and other costs, is subtracted to calculate growth margin, which reflects profit left after covering the product costs. Then comes the advertising, promotions, and other operational expenses that are deducted to arrive at the net profit, which is the money the company actually keeps. Gross margin percentage shows what portion of the sales becomes the gross profit, while net profit percentage shows the share of the revenue that remains after all. So this slide explains about the supply chain management team of the company. So the inventory forecasting and its impact on stock management. Inventory forecasting is the process of predicting demand to maintain the right amount of stock. Forecast quantity is the expected number of units to be sold, while actual sales are the real sold units. When sales exceed forecast, it is the out of stock occurs, and when the sales fall short, excess inventory occurs. Forecast accuracy measures how closely predictions match the actual demand. Net error shows whether the demand was over or under forecasted, while absolute error focuses only on the size of the difference. The goal is to minimize both stockouts and excess inventory by improving the forecast accuracy. So I've also implemented the user-centric report design, and these were the mock-up designs got from the stakeholders. Insight from the analysis, let's go. Let's turn the numbers into narratives. This is the home page of my report. I have options for info page, finance view, sales view, marketing view, supply chain view, executive view, and support and help page. Sales data is loaded until December 2021. All values are in dollars and millions in the report. And the report refresh date, this is dynamically changing. Let's go to the info page. The data source is SQL database GDB041 and GDB056 and stakeholders data. All are confidential. All the system data is refreshed on 4th of every month. Non-system data such as operational expense, market share are refreshed on request. Please go to support help page for additional info. This is attribution mentions. This page will redirect you to my LinkedIn profile. Let's begin our analysis from the finance view. As per the report mockup, I have filters for region, market, customer, segment, category, and product. These are the fiscal years, quarters, YTD is year to date, YTG is year to go, benchmarks versus last year versus target. I'll explain what does this mean. I have KPI card for net sales, gross margin percent, net profit percent. These are measures of profit and loss statement. So if you select the fiscal year and set the benchmark as versus last year, the selected year values will be in this column, and the benchmark value or the selected year value will be in this column, and change between them, change percentage between them. And this line chart helps us break down the line items of the profit and loss statement based on the months from September to August, because AtliQ's fiscal year is from September to next year August. And I also have top and bottom products and customers by the profit and loss measures. By default, it will be net sales. So in the year 2022 estimate, the net sales grew very big to 3,736 million. That is 3.7 billion. And gross margin stayed healthy at 38.1%. But the net profit percentage fell to minus 13.98 from minus 6.63% last year. So what happened here exactly? Let's examine that from this table. The main reason behind this loss was the very huge operational expense of 1,945 million and big deductions such as the pre-invoice deduction of 1,727 million, total post-invoice deduction of 1,900 and approximately 7 million. These costs turned our growth into a net loss of 522.42 million. That was the reason of the loss in net profit percentage. In the year 2021, gross margin percentage also fell. One key reason for this drop is the sharp rise in manufacturing cost. The last year it was only 160.3 million, but in the year 2021, AtliQ has spent 498 million on manufacturing cost. That's the reason behind the fall of gross margin percentage. In the year 2020, in the initial stage of their fiscal year in 2019, the sales were pretty good. But in the month of March 2020, the sales dropped sharply. The reason behind this is the COVID-19 pandemic that disrupted the markets worldwide. Even for AtliQ Hardware, this was a critical moment that tested their resilience. The company responded with the key strategic moves, tightening their cost control, shifting to digital sales channels, and strengthening customer relationships. The company turned the setbacks into steady sales growth. So these two tables gives the insights about the top and the bottom performing products and customers. You can observe the APAC region has the highest net sales, especially in India, and the customer is Amazon. This has generated a lot of revenue to the company. And segment-wise, it is a notebook, which has a business laptop, personal laptop, and gaming laptop in it. You can dig deeper into the products. So basically, notebook is the highest performing product segment. As we understood from the presentation, AtliQ faced a loss in Latin America. That is why it's the bottom performing region. Let's go to the sales view now. Sales view empowers the team to act quickly on top and low performing products and customers. Yeah. In the sales view, we break down the net sales and gross margin percentage by customers and product segments. To add depth to our analysis, the tooltip allows us to see monthly net sales and gross margin percentage for each customer, helping the sales team to track performance trends and act quickly wherever needed. So the other additional feature here is a gross margin percentage variance parameter. So this highlights the customers who show so whatever value I select here, that is the gap. That gap between the selected year and the benchmark year. This makes it easy for the team to quickly identify the customers where margins have dropped or improved significantly and focus on the root causes. Now, let's sort the customers by gross margin percentage for the year 2022 estimate. you observe that Novus has the lowest gross margin percent. Let's see where is that coming from. From the APAC region and Philippines customer. It has the lowest gross margin. Now let's see what's the reason behind this. For that, let's go back to the finance view. And in the APAC region, Philippines market, Novus customer. You can select here also, by the way. When you look at the pre-invoice deduction, it is 30.27 million as compared to the previous year, with a change of 256%. Even the total post-invoice deduction was huge as compared to the last year. So to highlight this in the sales view, I have created a donut chart which explains about the unit economics. When you look here on the Novus as a customer, the pre-invoice deduction was 30% and total post-invoice deduction of 31%, and net sales was only 40%. The flat discounts were only 60% and the net sales were 40%. From this, 32 million is absorbed by the cost of goods sold, leaving just the 8.77% of gross margin to the company. This heavy discounting is clearly eroding the profitability, and AtliQ needs to fix this. How can it fix this issue? It can hold the stakeholder discussions with Novus and renegotiate terms while maintaining the proper relationship. Let's sort the customers by net sales. You can observe Amazon has the highest net sales, and AtliQ exclusive standing second. AtliQ store ranking third in terms of net sales. Segment-wise performance, notebook has the highest net sales, and networking segment has the lowest net sales. So there is something issue with the networking product segment, and AtliQ has to work on this. And yeah, this is about the sales view. Now let's go to the marketing view. This empowers the marketing team with the insights to optimize campaigns and boost the growth. The features here I have is the product performance, region, market, and customer performance, unit economics. This line chart, the x-axis I have net sales, and the y-axis it's upon the user. If he wants a gross margin percent, you can select that. If you want a net profit wise analysis, I have the bookmark button created for that. You can observe APAC region has the highest net sales, yet the net profit is very low. The reason is very simple here. Like most of the companies in the initial stages, AtliQ invested heavily in advertisements and promotions to capture the market attention and bring the customer base. Let's understand this by unit economics. If you select APAC and look at it, the gross margin percentages, the gross margin is 690 million and 971.37 million was spent on operational expense. That is the ads and promotion thing. And that is why the net profit is very low, minus 281, 14.62%. And the Latin America is low in net sales. So the trend we see here is clear. Higher the net sales, lower is the net profit. This also explains the AtliQ Hardware's loss in Latin America. Unlike APAC region, AtliQ did not invest much in advertisement and promotions here, in Latin America especially. You can look here. It's only 5.63 million in all of the Latin America regions. You can check. In Colombia also, it's only minus 0.6 million. So AtliQ became very overconfident in this market, Latin American market. As a result, sales stayed weak and profitability dropped. It's the time to address this issue with a proper investment and a stronger market strategy. Same case happened with the notebook. Notebook has the highest net sales, but the lowest net profit percentage. So what lesson AtliQ has to learn from this is the balance. Because in the APAC, and the highest performing regions, markets and customers, it has also spent a lot of operational expenses. So the lesson that AtliQ has to learn from this is the balance. Invest enough to capture the market attention, but also reduce the expense by optimizing the ads spend towards high return customer segments and products. Networking is as usual very low in net sales. Next, we'll go to the supply chain view. This supports the supply chain team in improving the forecast accuracy and inventory balance. So here I have forecast accuracy, net error, absolute error, and the trend, accuracy and net error trend by the months, and key metrics by products, key metrics by customers. Here, EI stands for excessive inventory, OOS stands for out of stock situation. These are the supply chain terminologies. So in the year 2021, the forecast accuracy has improved. You can check. Last year it was approximately 73%, and this year in 2021 it is 80.21 percentage. And net error is minus 0.75 million, meaning the overall demand was slightly under forecasted. However, the absolute error is very high as 9.78 million, a 70% increase from the last year. So this shows the customer level forecasts are still inconsistent. So if the net error is positive, it is excessive inventory. If the net error is negative, it's the out of stock situation, out of stock inventory situation. So the key customers like Amazon, Acclaim stores, they all face out of stock situation because of the under forecasting. While the customers like Zone, Vijay Sales, and any customers which have the EI, the excessive inventory situation. So this is all because of the inconsistent forecasting. So the insight is clear here. Overall, the forecasting has improved, but uneven accuracy across the customers is driving very expensive stockouts and excessive inventory. Let's Vijay Sales is selected. In the year 2020, AtliQ has excessive inventory in the year of March 2020. If the bars are towards the upper direction, it's the excessive inventory. If the bars are in the down direction, the out of stock situation. When you look at the March 2020, it has the excessive inventory, and the forecast accuracy has dropped to 81.78%. This is the reason of the COVID pandemic. This was a global issue that affected all the companies, not just AtliQ. But from April, the forecast accuracy began to recover as the conditions improved, and the inventory was properly managed. In the year 2022 estimate, when the customers are sorted by the net error, we can see the customers like Leader, Stage, Costco, all are experiencing excess inventory. And the main big players like Flipkart, Amazon, they're all suffering from the out of stock situation. AtliQ Exclusive, it's the direct store of the AtliQ. Vijay Sales, so all of these important customers, they are experiencing out of stock situation. So this was driven by the surge in the demands during the electronic industry boom. On the other hand, the others, as I've told you, Leaders, Stage, and all, they also experience the excessive inventory, both of them opposite. So what insights can we gather from this? Inaccurate forecasting created two extreme situations: stockouts in high demand customers and overstocking in the decently perform or the low performing customers. So this is hurting the profitability for the company. When you look at the initial years, the net error was good, was positive, and then from 2021 to 2022 it started becoming negative. So what does this say? That the company is growing in a rapid phase. That's a good sign for AtliQ Hardware. Let's go to the executive view. So executive view is for the CEOs, CTOs, and COOs of the company. This guides the leadership with the integrated insights for the faster strategic decisions. So when you look at the 2022 estimates with as a year and the benchmark as the last year, growth versus profitability insights, if you want to look at, net sales are strong at 3.74 billion with gross margin percentage at 38.1%, but the net profit is negative, as we discussed the reasons before, highlighting that the revenue growth is not translating into profits due to the high costs and deductions. And regional risks subzone. In addition to NA, look at the net sales. India drive the bulk of the net sales. I mean, the revenue contribution is more from the India. Yet they are facing the out of stock situation and weak profitability. Even the ROA is out of stock. NE is out of stock. So it's not generating much profit to the company. But NA and Latin America has the excessive inventory. So this shows there is an imbalance in demand forecasting, demand planning. So these are the top 5 customers and these are the top 5 products. This is the additional feature I've added. This is in comparison with the last year, the benchmark. The gross margin has dropped. Estimate the targets. And you can see that major revenue contribution is from the retailer channel, then the other two, and the major divisional revenue contribution is from the PC group, then the peripherals, accessories and network and storage. In 2022, it was peripherals and accessories who has generated a lot of revenue. So this chart explains the market share of all the manufacturers like Dell, who is the AtliQ's competitor, Lenovo, BP, and AtliQ. Let's look at the Indian market. AtliQ has shown really a significant growth. In Latin America, it's only 0.3%. In rest of Asia, it is 8.3%. So this is all about the executive view. So what are the insights and suggestions at the end of the project? We have, despite 3.7 billion in sales, net sales, and 38.1% in gross margin, the net profit percentage is negative, mainly due to the high operational expense and heavy discounts. AtliQ was focused on cost control and smarter discount policies. APAC leads in sales but suffered from low profit due to high impact ad spends. Latin America shows losses from under-investment in promotions and balanced regional strategies are needed. Invest enough in ads to grow, but with ROI discipline. Key accounts or key customers like Novus in Philippines are eroding the margins due to excessive deductions. AtliQ must renegotiate the terms, reduce flat discounts, and maintain sustainable customer relationships. Forecast accuracy improved to 81.2%, but the net error shows the consistent underforecasting. Stockouts in Amazon, AtliQ Store, and Vijay Sales, and Access at Stage highlight the need for a tighter demand planning. To strategic actions for the AtliQ I can suggest is to improve profitability. AtliQ should optimize ad spend towards high return customer products, reduce discount dependency, and negotiate smarter deals. When then demand forecasting and inventory control, align regional strategies with market maturity, balance growth with profitability for long-term sustainability. Thank you so much for investing your time in my presentation.